Usually in Yu-Gi-Oh, more money leads to more better. But that is not the case for branded Despia, and that's what we're going to break down in today's episode of Meta Trends. Hey everybody, this is Tom Box, or rather hat-haired Tom Box. Looks very anime. And today's episode of Meta Trends is sponsored by HelloFresh, and more on them later. Now right now, we're in a bit of an odd occurrence in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you can do both save money and win more thanks to the Albaz Strike structure deck. Whatever that came out in that structure deck was really powerful, but also slightly underestimated, which is why the original trend of playing branded Despia was to play it with the adventure package because it justified the additional 4,000 attack bodies of the two 2000s from the Griffin Rider and the token to, say, giving yourself an Omni Negate and giving you that bounce. However, now the trends have started to shift away from the adventure package into a more pure build of branded Despia, and they don't even play DPE. Ultimately, you're saving money and you're going to be able to win more, and that's why I want to break down the reasoning of why we shifted away and how big of an impact is that big shift. And if you haven't made that shift already, you guys can definitely give it a try. Why, even in YCS Guadalajara, why more people were successful without the additional DPE, without the adventure package. And speaking of saving money, this video is sponsored by HelloFresh. HelloFresh has more 5-star reviews than any other meal kit, so you would know you're always getting something delicious no matter what you choose. HelloFresh also offers a wide variety of quick and easy recipes that minimize prep and make cleanup a breeze. As some of you guys already know, I'm no stranger to the kitchen, but one of the toughest and most, tedious steps is having everything prepared for you, and since HelloFresh has everything already prepared for you, that really makes things much, much easier. The recipes themselves are really easy to follow with pre-portioned ingredients that can help you cut down on prep time. I really love that part. It's like following one of my combo tutorials. It's just that easy. And I can get back to doing what's important. And if you guys have ever met me in person, you guys will know that one of my biggest pet peeves is wasting food, and with HelloFresh recipes that include the pre-portioned ingredients, that means less prep for you and less food wasted, which is really, really awesome. So use my link or go to HelloFresh.com and use code POG MST16 for up to 16 free meals plus 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes plus free shipping. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. Firstly, how much are you saving? Let's take a look at the branded Despia deck. How much is it just by default without the adventure stuff? Well, we're looking at 3 structure decks, which is about $10 each, $30, maybe 2 copies of Guardian Chimera. That's about $60 each at current market value. So we're looking at around $150 right now. Then you need 3 copies of branded opening at another $45 for all 3 copies. And then you also need Alibers. Let's look at the Ghost from the Past price now. So it's the correct market value, which is about 25-ish from what I've seen so far. So all in all, if we add hand traps and all the other trimmings in there, we're looking at about roughly $300 for the deck, which is pretty cheap for a top tier competitive deck, to be honest. And then now let's add on top of that the adventure package. Each of the water enchanters that you're going to play is going to set you back about $50, and same with the Rights spell card. That's total of 6 cards times 50, that's another $300. You're looking at doubling the price, but is it doubling the return back for you in terms of your win rate? So the reasoning is very clear when it comes to the pure build versus the build with the adventure. In terms of pure build advantage, it has smoother synergy. There's more ways to start, search for a starter, and extend plays. It fully utilizes the name of Fallen of Albaz so that you can use it to extend. However, the caveat here is that your branded fusion is more likely to be stopped by Ash Blossom because you either need a Call by the Grave or a Crossout Designator. Otherwise, the card is most likely going to be negated. And starting with branded fusion is a really good feeling because it is the 1 card opener that leads to a lot of disruption. And yeah, getting hit by Ash hurts. However, the name Fallen of Albaz is what you really care about, and which is why if you look at Andre Torres's build, you can see that there's many ways for him to summon out. He has the incredible Ecclesia in there. He has Albion, 2 copies of Albion, and he just focuses on breaking boards. He's not even playing any hand traps. He's just like, Fallen of Albaz is strong enough on its own to kind of just sweep the board. And Fallen of Albaz itself naturally forces disruption on its own because he can essentially act as a super poly. And there's already 3 super polys in the deck, so ripping your opponent's board apart is just what this deck is really good at. And once you know how to bypass the weakness of Branded Fusion getting hit by an Ash, and you can extend through it because you have the proper names of Fauna Albaz, you can still go into the Lubellion, the Albion, and essentially set up your back row ready for the Guardian Chimera play and the Mirror Jade. And I also want to emphasize on Branded Lost. This card essentially already kind of does what the Adventure package does, because the Adventure gives you that 1 negate and destroy, however it only offers you 1. Whereas Branded Lost kind of locks the entire chain out, and then if your opponent has hand traps, they're going to be stuck with dead hand traps because there's no opportunity to respond as you go from 1 fusion summon to the next as part of the first chain link of each of these fusion summon windows. So because of that, Branded Lost kind of already functions like that, and if you see your someone like normal summons out an Alibur or special summons it, and then they add Branded Lost, you know you're in for like a series of chains that you cannot stop. That's how rough it really is, and that blocking out of the fusion summon window is essentially one of the key things why this deck is super strong, and doesn't even need to go into the Adventure package to do it. But the Adventure package has its own merits. It provides you with an Omni Negate within the first couple of moves, puts you 4,000 damage worth of bodies onto the field, and provides you with a bounce. Going second is going to be one of those things that your opponent will have to answer to, because this is a true threat on the board. And on top of that, you also have a really cool opening play with Branded Opening. You can throw Water Enchantress, getting best of both worlds, where you can still use the Water Enchantress in the graveyard, and the Alibur coming out is special summon. So there are merits to it. However, the anti-synergy is where this part, kind of ends. First of all, if you open with an Alibur and you have rights, now you're playing with a split hand where you can only play half of your cards, essentially making the other half dead. So that's going to be a cloggy hand. You're going to need to weigh your decisions out really carefully when it comes to playing this. It also requires a larger deck size because this package runs about 9 cards in. So if you want to play hand traps or you want to play board breakers, you're increasing your card count a lot, which also makes you cut up some of the essential follow-up cards that naturally come in the structure deck, such as, the Mel Courier, Springen's Kit, and maybe even cutting down on Branded Lost. Branded Lost is really good. I'm currently playing 2 copies. I really enjoy it. I can cut it down to 1, but even if I play 2, I can side out one of these just so that I have a little bit of siding space. But you're going to have to cut some of the stuff that are part of that deck, and that means you're not getting the full use of Branded Lost, because Branded Lost also gives you the add of Mel Courier, which is essentially just a searchable hand trap. So the deck already has a lot of stuff going for it, and by playing a larger deck size, you're going to be cutting that stuff out. And if you open with, say, hand traps or board breakers plus, Adventure Engine stuff, then you're kind of stuck not really playing what this deck is really meant to do. And I know there's like a lot of 1-card stuff that you can do. It's really good to have Griffin plus, Branded Fusion. It's fantastic, but you're not always going to open that, and you're going to get some of these normal summonable hands. You can't use some of these starting plays, which the pure build can, such as using Gold Sark, using Foolish Burial to dump Tragedy into the grave to search for Alibur and normal summon Alibur, because your normal summon is kind of, shot. And sometimes you're going to be opening like a Griffin Rider and just some weird cards here and there, but they're just kind of clogging your hand because they don't offer you anything aside from a body, and you're not playing links. And this is not like 60 card base where 90% of cards can work with each other. This one, you're actually having anti-synergy where half your hand doesn't work because you're holding the other half of the deck incorrectly. So this is also kind of weird. And also you're also susceptible to Nibiru now, so some decks are still maining Nibiru. I'm going to just put that out there, and they are running, say, Ghost Ogre or some form of negation. And if your end board gets hit by a Nibiru, it is going to really suck. And yeah, that's where you really don't have really much you can do anymore. And you're just gonna have to hope for the best, because you have to get to the Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade, as long as you get the Albion in, sure, you can still do something with that token. But outside of that, you're in a really rough spot. So that's why I'm not sure if it's worth the merit. I get that the Adventure build still can do similar things, but you're gonna have to look at how long you're playing that tournament for. Is it a 5 or 4 round tournament? In that case, you can probably get away with bringing the Brave Engine. In fact, it might be really good because you're gonna hit those really awesome notes. But then what if you hit the bad notes of bad hands and you're playing, say, a 10 or 11 round tournament? Can you guarantee that you can play through it with these cloggy hands, and the game being so fast, within 1 turn you can lose all the advantage and snowball out of it? You guys have to, you know, pick your battles here. You have to weigh the risk versus reward when it comes to playing this. And is it worth the additional $300 just to get maybe an extra branded fusion push through, or would you rather be outskilling it and just play additional names to kind of push through and extend through it? You guys can be the judge of that, but that's probably why the trends have been shifting over to a more pure build rather than playing the adventure build. And of course, why the reason YCS results are kind of a reflection of that. Essentially, that's all I got for this video. Is it worth it for you guys to, you know, double the price of the deck just for a little bit of extra protection, but also trading off a little bit of brickiness to it? You guys let me know. But, you know, in terms of what the trends are right now, people are definitely have been shifting away from the adventure engine. If you have the engine and you want to play it, you know, good for you. But if you want to take it out, you know, you can put in other decks as well. You know, lots of other decks definitely can work with the adventure engine. It's still a very powerful engine. I'm not saying that it is bad, but in the context of putting into this deck, it might not be the best for you, and you might win more. In fact, you probably will win more by simply taking the engine out and just playing a more pure version. But of course, that's up to your preference. And if you know what you're doing, and if you're good as Pack and all those other really awesome players out there, shout outs to Pack. Well, guess what? Keep the engine in. I'm pretty sure you'll still win because you're a good player. And hopefully this kind of highlights the trend change right now for you guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe button and ding that notification bell. And don't forget to, I guess, check out the HelloFresh link down in the description. Or don't forget to use my coupon code as well. So that's all I got for this video, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one.